Hello and welcome to Bleeding Tree Gaming. My name's Amy, aka Warpfiend, and today I'm finally painting some of the Stormcast from the Skaventide box set. Now I've been hyped up about Skaventide for ages, and now I finally have it. I really want to get a Stormcast spearhead force ready to go as soon as possible. My Deepkin army has been a big project that's taken me a lot of time to finish, so I really want something I can use for this that just gets minis on the tabletop. I accidentally stumbled on a scheme I liked after painting a transparent gold over a model I'd used to practice some pinks and greens on, and although I had to ruin this effect by layering up the gold till it was opaque, I glazed over the shadows with green and the highlights with pink until I could kind of see it again. The problems I had with this were, first, that the matting effect of these glazes works fine in the shadows but ruins the sheen of the highlights. It is also way more difficult to get kind of a clean transition between the metal and the glaze. And secondly, I'm not great with working at metallics. I usually use non-metallic metals because, I struggle to get thin, smooth layers with metallics because you can't thin them down the same. The test model I did is pretty lumpy and not really what I want. So what I need is a scheme that's quick, smooth, preserves the metallic sheen of the armour, but has this interesting colour journey from green to red. When you're not sure about how you're going to pull off a scheme, the best way to figure it out is to paint up a bunch of basic dudes and try out some different methods. So that's what I did with these Liberators. I'm going to start with zenithal highlights, so most of them get a black undercoat while two of them get a dark jade one. Then all of them get a good solid coat of white from above. I first want to try applying the pink as a light spray from above to hopefully show through once I apply the gold. I'm going to try spraying some magenta ink onto one of the black undercoated ones, as well as one of the jade ones. I don't really hold out much hope of this working, as my basic airbrush work is obviously not going to give the same volume targeted highlight as I can speedily do with a regular brush, but it's worth a try. I also try a quick little light sketch in pink on another one. Next comes the gold. I'm mixing some Vallejo metal colour gold with some Green Stuff World ancient gold pigment, then adding a little Vallejo metal varnish and some airbrush thinner. I really don't feel comfortable with this kind of complex alchemy that you need to do trying to get metal paints to a proper consistency, but it seems to work. I first airbrushed the mixture on, with a little bit of hesitation that it's going to gunk up my airbrush, although it turns out to be unfounded. I actually really love how smooth and rich the gold comes out here. A little paler than my test model, but I did put in less pigment powder to make sure it flowed in the airbrush. I also tried brushing on the gold, but I can instantly tell that I'm going to be left with some unpleasant texture with this method. I guess I'm airbrushing them all in the future. Once the metal has dried, I can immediately rule out any of the underpainting with either green or pink. If I want to get the full shine effect of the gold, I'm going to have to apply a solid coat and get the colours in afterwards, because it's just not showing up. I'm pretty certain at this point the quickest way to get those jade green shadows in there is going to be with an oil wash rather than brushing on regular acrylics. This way I can wipe clean the gold to preserve that shine wherever I can. Before I do this, however, I highlight up and get that pink in there on a few of them. I'm just going to mix some magenta ink with my gold mix and quickly hit all the main spots that I want that pink rose gold tone. After the oil is dry, I do the same with the remaining ones. My initial impression is that the ones highlighted after the wash have a bit more metallic sheen but aren't as smoothly blended. I still can't decide which one I prefer, so please let me know your opinion down in the comments. You'll notice I haven't been completely scientific about this. I've mixed up the models I've used, tried things out and decided some steps I didn't need to continue based largely on my intuitions as an artist. Some people who have a much more analytical mindset might enjoy testing every single option when testing a scheme. Personally, right now I just want to get some models from this box table ready as soon as possible, so I'm going to narrow down this basic scheme quickly and refine it as I work through the army. I based the hammer with some gunmetal grey and then highlighted it and painted the waist scales with chrome. After an aborted experiment with washing it with a light blue, I gave this a wash of Coila green shade. In future, I'll just paint these before the oil wash and use that to shade everything. I used red tones for all the extra details on my test models, and I really wasn't happy with how they sat with the red tones of the gold, so I decided to go for a slightly less red brown in wildwood for the straps, scabbards and hair. The shield backing and key pop colour I ended up with striking scorpion green. And while I'm still not 100% sure about this, I may change it up later. They do have a really nice pop to them. I'll come back and base these models later, as well as another pass to paint the occasional details like the bear head on this one. For now though, I'm going to call them done. So this has been a little look at my process coming up with an army scheme. Hopefully I'll get a chance to refine this in future videos. On the whole though, I'm happy with this as a starting point. It's extremely quick, so this army can be playable soon. It has a nice amount of colour interest to grab people's attention, and while stuff like the Lord Veritan and Prosecutors will need more elaboration on the theme, the core of it can be applied to the army in batches. I'm going to show some photos of where they stand right now, so hang around for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Bleeding Tree Gaming. We've recently added a Ko-fi link and also a Discord, so please check those out. They're in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. This is Bleeding Tree Gaming, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.